Okay, today we are playing a game on Nepal. We are in the Gold SR range, and we will be playing McCree the entire way through. Also, we are on the console today, if that bothers you at all. The PS2, it looks like. No, not that one, actually. Probably not the PS2, probably actually the PS4. So if that bothers you at all, consider yourself forewarned. Our current team composition: D.Va, Zarya, McCree, Genji, Lucio, Mercy. Wholly unremarkable and not worth talking about, so let's start the game. Also on flowfeedback.com, every now and then there's going to be a comment turning up, and some of which I took issue with, which we'll see. This first one right here is kind of funny, right? So, first off, your mouse speed is generally going to seem pretty slow when you're using a controller. Second off, you know, yeah, don't stay in the front line as a DPS, but like, Zarya's kind of walking forward ahead of you, then she runs off to the side, so that's not really her doing a great job of positioning either as a tank. So we've dropped really low, we back out. They've got a Mei, which is pretty spooky. The combat roll here was quite necessary, because Genji's directly behind us. Like, we can hear him cut us with his melee attack. So if you don't roll, he just punches you again and kills you. But yes, throwing the flashbang at someone you're not in a position to shoot at is generally a faux pas. So quite a few people on our team currently dead. We're looking for Tracer right now. Try not to walk into people backwards if you're looking for somebody, because generally don't want to be advancing into the enemy team while looking away. So fight actually miraculously goes pretty well, considering it didn't start off that well, honestly. Got Tracer. Shot the Genji as he was deflecting, which ends up with us dying, but it's okay, Mercy reses us. Oh no, it's not okay, because Mei's ulted us. You know, there's not much you can do about that one, because if you don't have your roll, and you're not near the edge of the blizzard already, you don't get out of the blizzard. It's just how it is. The comment, maybe if you don't, like, shoot the Genji, he doesn't kill you, and then maybe that stops everything happening, but that's starting to attach a lot of qualifiers to that one, so it's probably not worth worrying about that deeply. So we've got back. We've still got control of the point, so that's good. Just, like, chuck the flashbang at the Genji, honestly. If someone comes into flashbang range and they have 200 HP, they should die, honestly. Genji's not looking at you, so he's probably not going to react in time to actually stop the flashbang, and then this ult doesn't actually happen. The comment here is like, don't switch who you're focusing. Yeah, that's also true, but also, really, should have probably just flashbanged the Genji immediately, seeing as he was like in our face and not looking at us. So then it wouldn't even really be an issue. So, our Genji also has his ultimate, so he's over there doing that right now. Unfortunately, Mercy died with Valkyrie, which is very sad. What are we talking about here? Mei is counted by people who can deal burst damage. I mean, the qualifier there is you have to be pretty good, but you have to be able to headshot her, so... But yeah, technically that is true. McCree does counter, Mei. I didn't actually know you could jump up on the bong to get up that way. So, you learn something new every day. So, generally, I play Winston. Doesn't often become an issue where I have to worry about, like, actually physically jumping up something. So, the reason we're probably coming around this way is to try and get in a position to use our ultimate, and... Unfortunately, we don't end up with a very good opportunity for an ultimate. Mercy does end up getting killed by Mei behind us, so... Yeah, when you're playing McCree, every hero has, like, a secondary objective. Well, not every hero. Most heroes have a secondary objective that they're trying to fulfill. McCree's secondary objective is protect the backline, because you have hard CC that is pretty easy to land, so you're good at protecting the backline, so generally you want to stick close to the support so that you can protect them. Assuming there are, like, flankers or divers on the enemy team. There isn't always, in which case it doesn't become an issue. This was one of the comments I took issue with right here, coming up. You should have realized that you were fighting a 2v1 and backed off. By the time we realize this is a 2v1, it's already too late, because it's just D.Va. It's just D.Va. Oh, fuck, it's Tracer. By the time we realize it's a 2v1, it's already too late to back out based on the knowledge it's a 2v1, because we're already in too deep. However, you take it a step back further, we don't want to be walking left. Why are we walking left? Because we're walking away from the cover of the pillar and further away from our team, and it doesn't give us anything to strafe that way, because we can still hit the diva standing near the pillar. And then we're in a better position to run away from the tracer. So the comment's not technically wrong, but by the time you realize it's a 2v1, it's already too late, because you're already too far over there to actually back out. The actual issue is that you're walking left while there's no reason to be walking left, and it leads to you being in a bad position when it turns out it's a 2v1. If it's, like, too late to have really done anything about it, the only thing you can really do is, like, go a step further back and been like, alright, how could I have never been in the untenable situation to begin with? Sometimes that also doesn't work. Sometimes your best is not enough, as we see towards the end of this round. This I also took issue with. It cancels the Diva's missile barrage that she was shooting directly into the Zarya, so it's fine. Yeah, you don't need to flashbang the Diva to headshot her usually, but it canceled the missile barrage. It's fine. So, we kind of roll forward into the Mei, which is generally going to be a faux pas also, because Mei wants you to be closer to her. Flashbang the Mercy, no res for her. Even if she did res someone, they probably would have just died again anyway. But we killed the Mercy, so we get to feel good about that one. This does go all 3 rounds, by the way, so we're here for a reasonable amount of time. I realize you can't see the time stamp, so I thought I might, you know, just so you're up to date, basically. So, Diva came in way ahead of the rest of her team and got fucked. However, Mei throws Blizzard in, soldiers using tack visor on the other side of the point. There's not much you can do about that one. Unless you're going to turn on a dime and, like, headshot the soldier and stop his tack visor, maybe, but, like, you die in that situation. There's nothing you can do about that one. Diva then wastes her ultimate, throwing it onto the point. Shouldn't really have even killed anybody, but it killed 2 people while we weren't there to even do anything about it. Then by the time we get over here, Diva's dead. Oh god, Genji's right here. Ho ho, sound barrier though, and then we shoot him. He's sad about that one. Don't end up actually catching very many people in the Graviton, but we still killed 2 people with High Noon, so it's fine. We do react a little late to the Mercy, because, like, when she's just, like, before she even pushes GA, she should have already been flashbanged in the face, basically. When we do throw it, we accidentally throw it past her, which is unfortunate, you know, it's gonna happen. Sometimes you're gonna throw the flashbang past her. Not a good reaction. I assume the reaction was like, oh fuck, Diva's right there, so I'm gonna flashbang her. We kinda want to save that so that we can try and kill the Mei as soon as she comes out of the icicle. And Diva was already losing her mech, so... Though I assume it was just kind of a knee-jerk, oh fuck, Diva's there, reaction. Get killed by Mei, as is tradition when you get frozen by a Mei. If we flashbanged her, maybe we kill her, and then maybe that doesn't happen. Well, if we kill her, it definitely doesn't happen, you know, because then she's not alive. So, fight's still happening, we're McCree, we're pretty slow. When we're in this kind of situation where, like, it's overtime and, like, you're gonna lose the game if the overtime doesn't go your way, it's usually gonna be better to just change to a faster hero. Even if the faster hero is worse for your overall team comp, because it's more important you just, like, get there. Mei did get her ult a lot of times during that round. It made it very difficult. So, it's alright, we've got 2 more rounds. We're here for a while. There was one comment on Sanctum that I found so particularly egregious, I was like, maybe we just disregard everything you said up until this point. But we'll cover that when we get to it. Oh, it was so bad. So, yeah, don't be the first one that runs out of a choke unless you're a tank, because then, you know, it's kind of, you're meant to be the first one to go out. Like, we're waiting to get healed. I don't like just, like, tucking in a corner and waiting to get healed when you could realistically get to a health kit, because there's a large health kit down the staircase and in the doorway. You've got the roll and you've got the flashbang if someone pops out near you to try and kill you. We can go get the large health kit rather than waiting around to get healed, because we spent a while waiting. Here comes Genji, flashbang Genji, killed Genji. Fuck Genji, though, right? Mei is generally inconvenient as always, but still dead. This fight has gone our way, despite us not having that much direct input with it. Here comes Baby Diva running straight forward. We are just, like, slowly walking out. This is something I'm generally very bad at pointing out. Whenever you're walking somewhere, just think about, like, if there's something near you, you can duck behind to get out of the way, because you don't want to be in the open. You always want to be near something that you can use as cover. Walking in the open is, generally bad, because if something suddenly happens, oh fuck, I have to go extra lengths to actually get to safety now. Disagree, fighting up near the choke, because the enemy can just kind of shoot at you through the doorway, and unless you have a Reinhardt, which you probably don't on King of the Hill, it's going to be really hard for you to actually hold up in the choke point. You do want to be standing on the high ground at all opportunities, though. But if your team doesn't want to stand up there on the high ground with you, you're probably going to end up having to give up the high ground advantage as soon as they try to contest you at all. Because on this map, you usually want to stand up on there, if at all possible. Or, like, on the bridge. We do, like, stand... We'll cover that when we get to it. So you usually want to stand, like, up on the bridge. If your team doesn't want to stand up there with you, and the enemy team comes out the doorway over here, you basically just have to give it up immediately, because you're not able to fight off several people by yourself. That's just how the game is. So, you know, it should kind of be your default position, but you have to be ready to give it up if your people start contesting you and you're outnumbered. So, we end up in, like, an awkward situation. I don't want to really fight over there, because, like, Mei is right on top of us, and fighting Mei is kind of scary, I guess, but, like, we do have our flashbang, don't we, at that point in time? Well, we almost have our flashbang, so if the Mei comes up on us, we can just kill her. However, more confined location. Yeah. We shift back and forth a lot between the 2 points. Fuck, Tracer, heard her looks like we heard her coming and just span around to get her. Unless we, oh no, she kind of shot at us, okay. If you're playing Tracer, and you're, sneaking up on somebody, don't start shooting at the person while you're too far away to realistically do any damage, because that gives her away here, which is the reason we're able to turn around so quickly. Unless we did just hear her coming before that as well, but it seems like it was the damage. So they're mostly dead now. You do usually want to just stick near your team. It's like kind of needlessly nitpicky to be like switching sides too often is a bad thing. Because, like, you generally do want to be near your team. It just kind of... It's a little nitpicky to be like, oh, you're switching sides too much. Because sometimes you want to switch sides a lot so that you get more you sort of come at them from an unexpected angle. And, like, it's not... You can kind of take that one too far. You're coming you can come at them from different angles that they're probably not expecting you to come at from, but you're still in, like, a safe position. So, if the enemy team is entirely focusing left, and then you go over to the right side, then suddenly they're not looking over that way, and maybe you manage to get a couple headshots in on the support and kill them. It's not necessarily a bad thing to be switching sides frequently. You do generally want to be standing near your team, though, yes. So, this high ground isn't particularly good because it's a pretty exposed position, actually. You have very poor vision of that doorway over there, which is where you should expect the enemy team to come from when they're trying to regroup. And if you have to retreat, your only option for retreat, really, is to... Like, if they come at you from that angle, you just have to jump straight down again, but if anybody's down here, you jump into more danger, so your options for retreat are more limited. And usually just standing on the bridge is better, because you do still have cover, it's still high ground, but you've got better vision, and it's easier to retreat if pressured. We then commit to fighting up here when we have no business committing to this fight up here, because we're being dove on by several people. And then, we get killed. This one is like... Sometimes this isn't true. Because when you're walking backwards, you actually walk slower. You walk at 90% of your movement speed when you're walking backwards. So there are situations where you don't want to turn around and face the enemy because it's more important you put distance between them quickly. So that's not always true, but you do usually want to be shooting at people as you're walking by. I don't like speaking in absolute terms where it's like, yeah, just always turn around and shoot at the person, because, like, if you're getting chased down by a Winston and you can't realistically kill the Winston in time, you want to look away from the Winston so that you can try and put more distance between you and him. Symmetra, similar thing. But when we get res there, we're fucked. Like, Mercy shouldn't res us in that position, and we're like, that's a res that sentences you to death, so there's not much to be done about that one. Top right is better on this map, but I fucking hate Village because no one ever wants to go top right on this map because for some reason they just don't want to contest the fucking high ground. Someone, oh my god, someone upset me a lot the other day because they were like, you don't go up on the top right side if you don't have a Lucio on your team. I'm like, no, you do absolutely still go up on the top right position because if you don't, you just give the high ground to the enemy team and then guess what? You lose the game. That's just how that is, unfortunately. So, yeah, top right's better, but, like, I hate Village because it's really hard to get your team to go on the top right position. Usually they'll go that way at the start of the game, but then after that they don't want to do it anymore, even though controlling the high ground is still the best thing you can try and do on this map. I fucking hate Village. It's also just kind of generally a crapshoot of a map. It's not my least favorite map in the game, but it's pretty close. It's up there. It's not Horizon, so it has that going for it at least. So, Winston here. Very common mistake with Winston players. Put Bubble down for some reason. Jump in while Bubble is down. Get killed because Bubble is down. All the time. All the time. Winston shouldn't be doing this. So we come around this way, and our immediate response is to ult, which is scary because if the McCree reacts in time and flashbangs us, we'll be really sad about that one. Winston shouldn't have done that. I'm fine with this, actually. Here's the thing, though, right? Rather than the immediate reaction being ult, throw flashbang, kill Mercy, back out. Like, don't roll to get into the position. Probably roll to reload as well. No, not really. Kind of, but not really. So, like, don't roll to get it. Here's what I would have done. Walk over here. Flashbang Mercy, kill Mercy, roll back, put distance between these people. McCree assuming McCree's playing well, he, like, tries to flashbang you on reaction, but, like, you stunned him as well with the flashbang, roll away. And then you can either disengage from the fight, or continue fighting if you're feeling confident. I'm fine with the maneuver. I'm not okay with using the ultimate in that position, because McCree is also right there, and if he flashbangs you, that makes you really fucking upset. If you just flashbang them, you can kill the Mercy and back out and disengage if you have to. And you've managed to kill the Mercy, which is always going to be good. May chucks her ult in. We have time to see this robot coming. It's not in a particularly great position, as we see. Flashbang, the Mercy is now using Valkyrie, which is very inconvenient, because it's just like 20 seconds of Mercy doesn't die. McCree is currently shooting at us from behind, but he's a very bad shot, and he's not allowed to do that. But he tried to do so anyway. I will say, yes, you should be able to hear the person coming, but that's also kind of hypocritical for me to say, because I don't actually listen to the game when I'm playing. And, well, how do you hear the ultimate callouts and everything? I just kind of look with my eyes, dog. And, like, I do this other thing where I try and keep track of where the enemy team is, so I'm like, I haven't seen Genji in a while. I should probably check for Genji. Oh, there's Genji, you know. Because here's the thing, I don't talk to people, because all I do is pick fights with them, and, like, I love fighting with people on the internet, so, like, me joining the voice chat does nothing but lower the team's chances of winning, honestly. And I don't listen to the game, because I'm usually listening to music, but I'm the kind of person that's like, what's the point of having music on if it isn't loud enough that it's going to cause me hearing problems later in life? So, I don't even listen to the game at all. And I got into Masters not listening to the game or talking to people. Communication's not as important as people say it is. The game is made of, it's all about communication. I have a different experience to that, actually. But, you know. So, here's one of the ones I really had issue with. Yes, the go-to position is on the left-hand side. Here's the thing. Most important thing, go whichever side the majority of your team is going on. Majority of our team actually goes out the left-hand side. That's the most important aspect of which way you're going. There is a reason to go one way over the other. If your team is more long range, then you want to go out the left-hand side. Okay, that's bad to say because of the symmetry on the map. You want to go out on the side that the non-enclosed side, the side that just goes out to the rim with the staircase. You want to go up onto that side. if your team is long range, because then you can benefit from the long lines of sight. If your team is more short-ranged, then you want to go on the other side, because then you can duck around the backhand side and try to just get on their back line and try to engage a fight on them. You can get closer to them with cover. So if you're short range, that's more beneficial. If you're long range, you want to go out onto the left side, because that's the more open side. There's a reason to go out both sides. It's not, I don't think that there is one side that's objectively better. It's just that whichever side, your team comp will decide for you which way is better on paper, but also ultimately the most important thing is that you go out whichever side the majority of your team goes out. They all went out the left-hand side, as we can see right there. So there was one comment about this one that really bothered me, that we shouldn't be doing this because we're opting into a 1v2 right here, and you're not favored in a 1v2, so just generally not a great idea. This isn't really standing on the front line, because, like, yeah, you're the most front up, but, like, you're far enough back and the roll's up so you can get out of the way. And, like, it's a diva that's far away, so it's not super scary. However, we do then back up into the person that we suspected was probably still back there. And we just saw diva get dumped off the edge. How very sad for her. So, this is not good. This is bad. McCree is not a flanking hero. You know, if we killed the Mercy, that'd feel great. You remove yourself from the fight for a really long period of time to do this kind of thing, and McCree is not good at flanking. Neither is Soldier. Sometimes you get an opportunity to flank with your ultimate, and that will pay off, but it's pretty rare. And so, just generally, McCree is not good at flanking. That's not why you lost the fight. The fight was going to be lost regardless. Unless you were gonna be an absolute god and just pop heads from the other side of the map, but, like, yeah, don't do that, but it's not the reason you lost that fight. That fight was gonna be lost regardless. It was already not going super well because of, numbers disadvantage. So we have our ultimate now, which is cool, and this is a good map to have your ultimate on, because you can threaten a very large space with it. So that's falling in the hole. We don't have to worry about it. The way the particles are going, we can see it falling. So we don't have to actually worry about it. That was, like, the thing that bothered me there. The Diva Bomb would have killed you, yeah, but we can see it's gonna fall off the edge. You don't even need to base it off the particles, you can base it off the fucking trajectory the ultimate is going in. Because, like, look at it. It's gonna go straight off the edge, because there's a gap there. So you don't have to worry about that. Point 1, completely disregard. Second off, you're moving away from your team and away from cover. There's less cover over that way, actually, because you're... That ties into the other comment that upset me. There's less cover over there. Yet you're moving away from your team. This is, like, a good place to stand on. There's a fucking fly in the room. This place is a good place to stand if you're playing McCree, because you can defend yourself if a flanker comes up on you from the side while you're standing up on this slightly raised area. And there's cover to use up here because there's all the pillars and everything. And you're still close to your team because your team is probably on the point or on the rim behind you, so you can either go back over to them or you can hop over to the point if you really fucking need to get away urgently, right? There's also 2 health kits nearby, because there's the one on the point there and there's the one behind you. This is a good place to stand as McCree. We're coming up here to try and get the other McCree. We get the drop on him, and I'm pretty sure we get him. Feels good, man. So, like, disregard that comment, because, like, that's a fine... You're moving away from cover. What cover's here, dog? You know? Generally, this, like, ties into the other comment that was, like, an issue. Was it this one? Air position to ult leaves you too far out in the open. Like, this is what you do on, this map, if you're playing McCree or Soldier. You sit, like, right here, and you threaten the entire space, right? Because that's ultimately what McCree and Soldier are really good at. They're good at consistent DPS. And they're both... Soldier's longer range than McCree. But they're both long range here. Like, McCree is, like, close to mid-range, and Soldier is mid to long range. So, like, there's overlap here. If you're, like, a hero that has any kind of decent range, basically, like Zenyatta, McCree, Soldier, Ana... what you do on Sanctum is you sit right here, and then, because you threaten the entire space. And if you need to get to cover, you can just duck off to that side, or like that, you know, on your opposing side. You can duck off that way, because the enemy team is probably trying to do something similar, right? They'll probably have people over there shooting at you. And if they start winning, you can just duck back here, and, get behind the cover of these, pick up the health kit that's back there, whatever. Maybe you've got, your teammates behind you as well. You sit on the rim, and you threaten the whole space, because Soldier and McCree, they threaten their zone of threat is their entire line of sight, right? McCree has a drop-off point for his zone of threat, whereas Soldier doesn't really, but they threaten a very large area, so we sit on the rim, because it's hard for people to get to us. They kind of have to push through a lot of space to get to us, and we have a very large area that we can threaten very safely. So this is like what we do. We sit like right here, and we don't go on the point. Generally, standing on the point is not the best thing to do, because it's usually the area that's the most threatened, unless you're a tank, in which case, you know, that's what you do. This is fine. I do this all the time. I love McCree. McCree is like one of my favorite heroes to play. I do this all the time. If the enemy's not really paying attention to me, come up this way. Because I'm like, sit on there, over there. Just like default position. And if they're not really looking at me, I'll come and like push up here a little bit, see if they're paying attention. Try and pick somebody off, and like, if you, feel scared, you can just roll back down the staircase, right? And just get away from them. You are staying here without any cover and without a reason. You can still do when you are more on the left. Don't move further than necessary. This was the comment that I thought was absolutely appalling. Completely disregard. This is what you do on this map. You sit right here. You threaten the entire area. You occasionally come up here. And, you know, if the enemy team is, like, more over this way, you can just, like, move up there, or just, like, default, because they're far away from you. If they're over here, you can stand up here, and you get a better line of sight onto them, and you're still really far away, so they can't really do very much to you. If the enemy team is, like, there, you sort of sit here, and if you feel like you can get away with it, you start, like, poking your head up here to try and, like, pressure that, like, try and, like, sneak a few shots through. And if you feel threatened, you roll back down the staircase, and you're fine. Completely disregard this comment. F-, very poor. Please see me after class. This is what you do on this map. If you are Soldier or McCree, or Zenyatta, or Anna, this is what you do. Okay, there's not much cover here. You're fucking far away. Right? That's the benefit. And there's cover right here. You can get to it very quickly. Disregard that comment. I was very upset with that comment. So, there goes that person over the edge. Oh, he's trying to get back up the edge again. Diva currently dead. Lucio did not manage to get back up the point. Winston not really feeling it right now. Things are not exactly going well right now. Soldier's using tack visor. We try and get up on the Mercy here. So, yeah, this is like, no, not great execution. Obviously, aim better is like not helpful advice. If you're in this kind of position, she's not looking at you. No one on their team is looking at you. They don't really seem to know that you're here. What you can do is just walk up to her, flashbang her, and then back out again. Because then when she's flashbanged, she's dead, right? There's not much you can do about that one. And then you can get away. You kind of give yourself away by doing that kind of thing. So, here's the real thing, though, right? By the time we're even in, by the time, like, go way back, when we're here, we've lost the fight. Okay? Like, this fight, we've lost it now. I'm not joking. Here's the play. Jump in the pit. And here's the reason. Because you're really far into the enemy team. You're gonna lose this fight, right? There's no way this fight goes better unless somebody manages to pull out, like, a miracle ult kill. You throw yourself in the pit. Because you're really far behind the enemy team, so your chances of actually getting out alive are very slim. If they kill you, they get ult charge for killing you because they dealt damage to you. If you throw yourself in the pit, they can't kill you, so you don't get the ult charge. You also you die faster, so you get to regroup with your team faster, and actually start working with your team again faster. And you deny them the ult charge that they're probably going to get from killing you. If you're in a position where you don't think you can get out, or getting out is going to take an exceptionally long time, just kill yourself however possible. Throw yourself off a ledge if possible. If not possible, because the map, some maps don't have ledges, just run into the enemy team. Because the important thing is you try to get back to your team as quickly as possible, because your team needs you to be there with them. If you are gonna die, but you drag that out to take an extra 10 or 15 seconds, that's just 10 or 15 seconds that your team can't really do anything because they're at a numbers disadvantage, right? So, if you're pretty likely to die, just die faster. And if possible, do so in a way the enemy team can't actually, get ult charge from killing you. So, we have... we have High Noon. And this is a pretty good map to have it on, because we can threaten such a big area. We missed the flashbang right here. We start looking away from the Tracer. It's not what kills you. Tracer probably kills you in that situation regardless. Don't, split your focus like that, though, because the Tracer is still, very threatening back there, so you do, she is where you should be focusing your attention. You probably die regardless, because you're already at 80 HP by that point, but, yeah, don't, divert your attention. And Deadeye, pretty good ultimate on this map. There weren't... What was that one saying? Being distracted by... Yeah. It's a pretty good map to use, Deadeye on. Also, if we're standing in, our default position just on the rim, even if there's, full 6 people on the point, you can just, back up a little more, kind of into the edge, because Deadeye doesn't have a range, and then you can just ult and, kill 6 people on the point, and there's not that much they can do about it, except, headshot you from really far away. So, this comment coming up I also found a little upsetting, because it's kind of, right, so we're shooting at the Mercy. It's you're spending way too much time shooting at the Mercy. Although it's good to shoot. Here's the thing. It's a lose-lose situation, right? This is a comment to me that seems like the thought process behind it is I saw that you missed this person a lot, so obviously you should have shot at somebody else. Here's the thing, we're shooting at Mercy who's using Valkyrie. It's a lose-lose situation. Yeah, we missed the Mercy, but if we don't shoot at the Mercy and and Mercy's really hard to kill in Valkyrie. If you don't shoot at the Mercy just doesn't let anybody else die. So you have to shoot at the Mercy, but the Mercy is hard to kill, because she's in Valkyrie. So, yeah, we miss her a bunch of times, but, if you don't shoot at her, she just doesn't let the rest of her team die. So, you have to shoot at her, and, yeah, we don't kill her. That's kind of just the thing with, Valkyrie, is it's basically just 20 seconds where Mercy can't die. So it's you have to shoot at the Mercy and kind of just hope you kill her. Because if you don't, she doesn't let nobody else will die. We lose that fight regardless, though, because, most of our team was already dead by that point anyway, so it wasn't gonna work out. So, there weren't, the biggest thing in this one is, try to, it's kind of hard to say, try to take advantage, alright, I'm gonna start again, because that was a disaster, alright. Positioning is, the biggest thing in this game, in this, match that stands out, because it's when you're playing someone like McCree, or Soldier, McCree, generally, McCree you usually have to stand, you can't position the same on Soldier and McCree in a lot of situations, because Soldier wants to be further back than McCree does in most games. Or on most maps, I should say. But the idea is we are looking to stand on high ground if possible, and be as far away from the enemy team as possible, while still being close to our team. While we're playing McCree, we do have this secondary objective, where we're trying to protect our backline. So we want to stay far back near our supports, so we can protect them if we have to, and then they can help us if we need help as well. But, try to stay as far back as possible. Most heroes in the game, you want to be, on the as close to the edge of their effective range as possible, because the further you are away from the enemy team, it's harder to kill you, the further back you are, basically. This is why Zenyatta and Ana should be standing very far back, because they don't want people being on them, and they can be very far away, because their effective range is effectively infinite. So, you want to be, like, at the edge of your effective range, like, near your team, so that you can support them and they can support you if they need it. We get, like, really close to people. We're not really thinking about if there's something we can use as cover in a lot of situations. And we also, sometimes we don't retreat backwards quickly enough as well. But, like, positioning is, like, the biggest thing. Generally, just, like, try and be, like, at the edge of your effective range, near cover, near your team. And generally, that's gonna, I'm trying to think that's gonna generally be the correct place you could be standing. It varies from map to map where the correct place to stand is, but generally it's just far back, high ground if possible, near your team. Also, don't try to flank as McCree. Doesn't generally work out, but disregard those comments that we saw. Those ones really upset me. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful. Seriously though, forget those comments on Sanctum, they were terrible.